Hey, this is Wanker Reviews, and I'll be doing a video on the Curse of La Llorona, starring Linda Cardellini, about a woman who works for Child Protective Services after her most recent case that involves suspected child abuse. Her own children soon start to become haunted by a crying ghost called the Weeping Woman, who is based off a Mexican folklore. Now I'm going to be 100% honest and say that I really was not looking forward to watching this. Just based off the trailers, I knew that it was going to be trash. It was going to be very generic. It was going to be basically the same jump scare nonsense that we've seen a million times before. But I still went to watch it to give it a shot. Now, I'm just going to start with the positives. Now, the acting from everyone is actually really great. Everyone does the best that they could. Linda Cardellini, who plays the mother, she does the best. Like, you can tell that she's doing the best that she can do. She's really trying her hardest to give a great performance, and at times she does give a great performance, but there's really only so much an actor can do in order to make a movie great. It really does depend on the writing and the directing, because again, the actors aren't writing and directing their movements and their speech, so they really only have so much to work with. And the children are actually pretty good as well. Raymond Cruz, who plays a ghost hunter, if you want to call it that, if you probably recognize Raymond Cruz from Breaking Bad, and he's actually the highlight of this whole movie. He brings life into this movie. He brings humor into this movie that's not over the top and annoying. And he's a very likable character, and I have to just say, without giving away any spoilers, he was the only one I cared about in this whole movie. I was actually rooting for him to survive. Like, he was the only one I cared about if he lived or died. The other characters, despite being good actors, they were just throwaway characters. They were lifeless, and that's not really their fault. It's the fault of the writing and the directing. I think the problem is that maybe Raymond Cruz isn't just naturally charismatic and likable in anything that he does, whereas the other actors are they need direction. They need good writing in order to flourish throughout the movie or throughout any project that they're a part of, whereas Raymond Cruz seems more like a natural and doesn't need as much direction in order to be likable, if that makes sense. Now, towards the end of the movie, it does start to pick up, and that largely has to do with Raymond Cruz. Like around the third act, last 30 minutes of the movie, it really does start to pick up, and I actually start to care about what's going on. As for positives, that's the only thing that I can think of for this movie. The movie itself was very bland and boring. Like I said before, my expectations were very low, and my expectations were met. This movie is just the same thing that you see over and over again. This movie is actually probably just as bad as The Nun from 2018. Actually, La Llorona is probably a ripoff of The Nun, because they both basically do the same thing. They both have open mouths, shrill screaming and blowing people across the room. Although I will give credit to La Llorona for actually killing people, for actually doing something to her victims, like grabbing them and throwing them across the room, killing them, choking them. Whereas the nun, she was just a prankster. She would get other people to do the work for her. And for this movie, I guess another positive is that there is some creepy imagery, and they do have some potential here and there. The movie does show that it does have potential and that it can be creative. What you see is what you see in other movies, like the Insidious series, the Conjuring series. It's just a ripoff of those movies. And the ghost herself, who's played by Marisol Ramirez, she I don't know what the thing. The ghost itself looks goofy. It looks like a woman in white makeup. The makeup job is not very good at all. It just looks comical. It looks like a parody of the Conjuring series instead of like a real horror movie. I really do not recommend this, even if you are a hardcore Conjuring fan or the Nun fan or Insidious fan. I don't recommend this at all. It's a complete waste of time. I was constantly checking my watch to see when it was going to be over. Thankfully, the movie isn't that long. The movie itself just seems so lazy. It was just, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what's going on with production. I don't know if they're penny pinching, but there was just really no passion behind this movie. It was just very generic. It's a cash grab because they know that they can make some profit because it's connected to James Wan and it's connected to his movies that he actually directs. So I don't know. There's just no passion. There's no creativity. There's just nothing here. And it's a complete waste of time. No one in the audience seemed to enjoy this as well. There was actually some people sitting behind me who were snoring. And just no one was into it. I have to give this maybe a 3 or a 4 out of 10. I think I'll just give this a 4 out of 10. I've seen worse, but this is really, really bad. And I don't recommend watching this in theaters. It's not worth it at all. So yeah, 4 out of 10. Thanks for watching.